computer, and hopefully this works this way. All right, Dr. Taylor.
Well, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce y'all to my friend Maria Herrera. She is in the Grand Prairie ISD Family Services Center, and I got connected to her through Hope for All. She's in our Community Changemakers Coffee Club, and I cannot even tell y'all how many great things are happening in GPISD for the students, for just holistically to serve the students and their families. So I'm going to turn it over to Maria, and she's going to share some of this with you. Again, this is being recorded, and so feel free to share it out later because I know there's many of us who will want this information. So, Maria, take it away, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I am so honored to get this opportunity to kind of highlight some of the things that we're doing here in Grand Prairie ISD. And I think Dr. Taylor said it well, it's the holistic approach. I'm the director of family and community engagement. So it is a link directly from home, community, school, and that's what I get to oversee. So I'm very, very happy of what we've done over the years with the district. And so I want to highlight some when it comes to mental health. I am a clinical social worker, so I have that lens that I bring into this role. And so just want to highlight some things. I know we don't have a long time here, but I will welcome questions, things like that, and let me know. You'll have my contact information that you can always reach out in the district if there's something, one-on-one discussions that we need to have for sensitivity, confidentiality things, obviously, right? And so, but I'm going to share my screen because one of the things that I want to do is highlight some of the different things, and the best way is to look at our district website. So I'm going to go ahead and share and share. All right. I believe you guys can see my website for Grand Prairie ISD. Can I get a thumbs up on that? Yep, perfect. Okay, so the first thing is, obviously our website, it did get kind of got a new look this year, so a lot of families are kind of navigating a new website for us, and so it looks just a little tad different. So if what I'm going to go through is kind of just show you real quick, anything that I talk about, if there's any events, things that we're highlighting for our families or students, it's always going to be on our calendar, whether that's at the Grand Family Service Center. And I'm going to touch on that in a few minutes. And so, but on our district page, just going straight to the calendar, you will find just things that we're doing for anything from families to students, and or highlighting different things, right? And so this is a good place to find things. We have lots of resources to touch the families regarding their basic needs, to their mental health, to all the supports that they may need. So this is a good starting point right there. But I do want to show you how do we support that student? What that does that look like on a campus? So we have our counseling services. So if we go down here to counseling services, you will find all the different supports that we do. And we're talking about mental health, but you can see we do a lot of things with drug intervention. We do employee wellness, which also includes our mental health for our employees. So we do have um, that. If you were not aware, and this is just like a little side note, we have our support services for staff, and we do what's called Choose Wellness. Every single Wednesday, we highlight wellness in our district. So it's a big brand. It's talking about self-care, health, connecting with people, balancing everything, right? And so equipping families, I mean, our employees with the resources they need. We do newsletters for them. We do presentations to them. And Dr. Wright is the director of student and employee wellness. So she takes care of all of that. So she's housed here in our family service center, and we take care of our own, staff as well. Being an educator nowadays, it's a lot. We're navigating a lot of things. We're dealing with post-COVID. We're dealing with a lot of safety concerns in our this time of the world, right? And so we're having to deal with a lot more anxiety, a lot of stressors, and it's not just being felt by our students and our families, it's also our staff. And so we want to make sure that they also receive supports from us. And so Ms. Wright does an awesome job in making sure our staff is taken care of and gets support, even from grief, if there's something that's happened on a campus where we've lost a student, an accident, or something like that, a family member. You always hear in the news, our counseling services is providing supports for our students, but that also incorporates our staff because our teachers are also affected by any of those things that unfortunately our students experience. Our teachers build those relationships with our kids, so we got to take time for them. So when we're sending out counseling supports during emergency, we also have a team that takes care of our staff. And usually I support Ms. Wright in those endeavors when it comes to staff supports in an emergency situation, crisis intervention. But we also have all of these different supports. And we have obviously the one that I wanted to talk about was what does that look like for students? So I'm going to go back to our counseling center. So we offer counseling services here are for our students for free. It is housed here at the Family Service Center. We have two play therapies, two counseling rooms here that we offer after school hours because we don't want to interrupt instructional time, but we have the resources so that we can meet those emotional needs of our kiddos. And that's working very closely with our counselors and social workers on our campuses so that when they're getting referrals, they'll know like, does this require more than just a quick check-in with our kids during the day? We may need to do more supports after hours. And so that means working with the parent, having maybe a meeting with the parent and saying, hey, what's going on? Let's do an assessment on what's going on at home. And then that way we can see how we're going to do that intentional work with that student. And we start as young as, elementary, first grade, all the way up to high school kiddos. So we're doing evening shifts. So who are our therapists, right? Who are the ones that support these students? These are our own staff, which are counselors and social workers that are licensed to provide that support. And so they come in after hours. We're doing things from at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, even 7 o'clock in the evening sessions with students. And then we also have Saturday shifts for those families that cannot come during the week. And so we do have like a list, and so a waiting list. We have a very high need. Families are reaching out, and so we do want to continue that. But here gives you examples of some of the things that we can address on the counseling center. We're doing adjustments to life transitions. Maybe there's a separation. Maybe they had to relocate, and so they're having a hard time adjusting to a new location, new friends, things like that. Behavior, grief, bullying, self-harm, low self-esteem, depression, anxiety. But when these are not appropriate, meaning there's a severe level of need or a high level of need, we will definitely reach out to our community partners in the community to make sure that they get those services a little bit more in depth for that. And these are free services to our families. They have to be GPISD students. They are free services. And they get about, I believe, 6 sessions that they can get for about an hour. But we're flexible. If we feel like maybe we need another one, we may work with that. So with the family. But we just ask that the families connect either with their counselor or they can contact us directly here at the service center, and we'll definitely start getting them connected to our center for those services. So this is the website that kind of goes and breaks down a little bit of like what services this really involves. And it just depends on the needs of who reaches out. So if they prefer one-on-one, then that's pretty much what we see is a lot of one-on-one supports in the schools during the day because we have instruction. Counselors and social workers are able to meet with students, check in, talk to them, see what they need, give them some quick tools so that they can be in the classroom if they're dealing with anxiety, things like that, work with their teachers to kind of give them, hey, without breaking confidentiality, we could work with our teachers to come up with a plan on what does this kiddo need in order to be successful academically. Sometimes it's like creating a plan where, what, we need to allow them a little bit of time to go see their counselor, social worker to check in, and then have them come back into the classroom. But we try to find a balance because we definitely want to make sure our kids are set up for success. And if, as you know, with mental health, if we're not doing well up here or our basic needs are not being met, we can't expect our kiddos to be fully focused on their academics. It makes it that much difficult. Our kids come in the morning, they may have left a situation at home that's stressful. Maybe there's not enough food. There's a lot of dynamics happening, and they come to school, and this is their safe space. So we need to provide and work together to make sure that we continue that safe. What that means safe is not just a place to come, but also a place where they can speak and talk to someone if they need that support, and then connecting them to the resources that they need. So we provide that. We do a lot of McKinney-Vento support assistance for families. These are our families in transition or that are homeless. And so we provide those families the supports that they need. Foster care students, we also work very closely with our foster care students and military connected families and students. So we're touching all different levels of families and students. And we have some form of support for all of these families. Um, so we have our social work hub. So when we talk about our basic needs, we're talking about food, clothing, things like that. That's an extension of mental health. If we're not feeling good, we're not eating well, it will affect our mental health, right? And so we do have supports for our families here. Again, at the Family Service Center, we have a food pantry, um, we have clothes closet, we have hygiene products. We work with our local agencies. We have Lifeline actually housed in our building where we refer families to them right away if they're needing supports with financial assistance. We refer to Grand Prairie United Charity. So we work with the community to make sure that our families are getting those resources met. We do enrollment here assistance. So we have a new family coming in and they're needing support. This is kind of a one-stop shop for those families to come in and get that. And we start connecting them right away to all of the different supports that they may need. Um, and so this is kind of an overview for that. But what we do here at the Grand Family Services, we're going to go back to departments, and you can click under G, Grand Family Service Center. And then you will see there what does this building offer for our families. And it includes, like I said, the counseling support, all of the food services, assistance for after school programs, nutrition, language testing. We do all of that here. And so we want to make sure that they have all the supports that they need in one location. And that actually helps the families feel a more like supported because it's all the wraparound services that we're doing, and they don't have to be going to different locations. Who do I need to talk to? We can do that all together. And that just brings a whole sense of relief, right, for families especially when they're coming into the new district and it's unsure, like, who do I go to? It's scary. That anxiety for parents will trickle down to the kiddo. And so we want to make sure that families feel right away supported. And then when they're in the school, the kiddo knows that we do also provide that support in the schools as well. And so we do offer different events here at our building. So we'll do like Medicaid and CHIP assistance, workforce assistance for like unemployment. We had coffee talks an English and Spanish. It's a mental health support group for our families to come in and have like a little bit of a support system. And so we've partnered with Grant Halliburton Foundation. It's a community partner who comes out and provides these coffee talks, which is a topic that they choose every month. So it is just, and so when you click on our calendar and anything that's hyperlinked, it'll open up a little bit of a description of that. And so it is a way to support our families in an informal way without it being like a therapeutic kind of setting. It's just coming in and going and getting that support. And there's no end. We have a session every month. And so families can come in or the parent can come in. Right now, we're offering it during the day, but if there's enough interest, we can provide opportunities for the evening. Um, we have toddler time. So we have our families who have littles who have not yet started school. And we want to be able to provide them a space for them to come and have fun and just give parents a little bit of tools that they can work with their kiddos at home. So starting early, right? Giving them some resources. And then that introduces them to the other opportunities we often offer in our building so that they can get those supports as well. Um, and so our school social workers do a lot of great things on their campuses to provide different topics, especially with students like Red Ribbon Week, things like that. I also do a parenting on the go, which is a monthly session that I do where we talk about different topics. And so again, it could vary. We do a survey at the end of every school year for our families to get an idea of what do families want to hear more about. We do at the beginning of the year and end of the year. So when we look at both of that data or that responses, families, the two top things that families want is academic supports and mental health. That is the two highest requests. So I try to create these sessions or the supports in person and virtual based on what they've requested. So right now, we're this one coming up on October 21st, we're going to talk about cybersecurity and things that families can do because that also creates a lot of stress in the family because kids are exposed to so much now than we were, when we were going to school, right? And so families, there's a little bit of disconnect because the parents are not as aware of what's happening in that world of just technology and cybersecurity. What does that mean? There's a lot of our students can be vulnerable, right, into a lot of these situations. And so we want to empower our families with knowledge. And that's really the focus of me is like trying to find ways to empower our families so that if they have the skills, they have the confidence to be able to support their kiddos. And then we also want that to trickle down to our kids, that they have the confidence to ask questions, to advocate, to say, hey, this is what I need, things like that. So all of that is definitely part of mental health and making sure that they have the tools, the resources to be successful. Um, Let me see what else I got. I had written myself a little note. I touched on everything. I don't know if there's anybody who has questions or anything else that they want to know about. We do have a section on parents here, so just giving them different tools for them to find um, what they may need. So, any questions or any thoughts?
Maria,
Yes.
I have some thoughts and I want to thank you so much. You have made my day, my week, and my year. I have I retired in 2011 and not half of this was there for us available when I was working in the schools. And I know how important our parents need that one space, like you being at Barbara Bush. Wow, what a wonderful opportunity the district has given to families and mental health. It's obvious that we are aware in our district um, that that's our kids can't learn if they can't eat and they can't um,
Regulate
worry
their
about
emotions and all of that.
how
Absolutely.
are they supposed to do spelling words.
Yes.
So
That's not a
I thank
priority
you.
for them. Yes. No, I
I'm
appreciate
so
this.
excited.
This is a effort from everyone. I can't take credit for any of this. I mean, I think it's that also speaks to relationships for me. Huge thing is relationship building and working together. And so we have an amazing team in our district that sees also the value in working together like that. Dr. McGee and I work really well together. We oversee this building. It used to be a Bonham pre-K center, and now we transformed it into the Family Service Center because we saw there were so many places that families were being sent, and it was frustrating. They have transportation issues. Those are barriers that, hey, we need to address that. This is a time, even though it was sad to close down the pre-K center, but we went ahead and said, how do we utilize and capitalize on that space? I wasn't part of the big level discussion, but when they brought that over, I'm like, I think that's awesome. I think that would be a great use of space. And Dr. McGee and I have the fortunate ability to be able to like oversee this and all the programs. And so because that's where our hearts are. She does a lot more with the students, I deal more with the families, and it's a good partnership.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments for Maria? Yes, John. Oh, John, you're muted.
Yeah, he's muted.
Lion John, you're muted. You're still there. He is.
Am I there now?
We're here now.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you for doing this, because
Yes.
what I feel is that I'm on the phone too. Excuse me. What I feel is that this is so important. There's too many families that do not know this is available in their school system, and so maybe we could happily clap for our international president for wanting to make mental health one of the issues we as Lions need to address. And to see this is really mind boggling, in my opinion, to know that there's someone out there that has really got a program. This is really neat. I mean, you've got this so well planned that I'm almost afraid to even open any part of it, because I'm afraid that I'll get something that I'll learn that I haven't learned before. And so, anyway, just congratulations and thank you for doing this.
Oh no, thank you. Thank you. You're so kind. But yes, this was definitely a district vision from years ago, even from Dr. Hull, who, when she passed away, that was her legacy, that she wanted to bring a place where families can come. And it's just trickled down to all these people coming together and just bringing these ideas and the social work growing. And, but I think COVID kind of made just an impact, even though it was a negative time of history, but it actually opened up space for us to really talk about we need to be mindful of how this affected our mental health in our communities. And it's still affecting, right? And so, but no, I love what I do. I love that I get to be part of this, connecting with all of you. And if any families out there that is Grand Prairie ISD connected or still shopping for a school, send them our way. We would definitely make sure they get taken care of.
Thank you, Maria. And just as a show of the community support that they've built at the Grand Family Services Center, we've also got Vivian Morris, who joined today from Lifeline for Family.
Yay! Yes.
Yeah, she's here. She offices in there with Maria and is one of the
Yes.
great support. So that community collaboration is really important. And I just want to applaud y'all for also having the staff support as well, because if the staff isn't supported, then how are they going to help our family?
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Y'all are doing great things. Well, we're right at just about 12:30, so we want to be respectful of time. But thank you for joining us. Thank you, everybody who came today. This is going on all week. Tomorrow, you can join us for Master Coach Lakendra Smalley, who is going to be presenting about heart-centered leadership and kind of taking care of ourselves as leaders. Thursday, I will be your speaker, and I'm talking about the mental health benefits of playing outside, especially in inclusive play spaces. And then Friday, we will wrap it up with Seneca Alma, who is going to do a really interesting discussion of moving from the prison system to getting to reentry and getting back out in the world and talking about growth and resilience in those aspects. So if you've already registered, you can use this same Zoom information to get back. So it's the same Zoom link, same meeting ID and password every day from 12 to 12:30. We open at 11:45 if you want to come in early and chat it up, and we'll stay a little bit longer for anybody that might want to have a deeper discussion. So I think we'll go ahead and stop the recording now so that if you had questions you wanted to ask that weren't recorded, now would be the time to